All right, everyone. Israel has carried out extensive strikes in Palestine over the last 24 hours. It looks like the ceasefire you may or may not actually hold. Israel is declaring, of course, that Palestine, give us the hostages, disarm, drop your weapons. And so, because you haven't done that, we're going to attack you. Palestinians, of course, claim Israeli aggression. We have seen this so many times throughout our lifetimes. If you're my age, you can probably remember, I don't know, 2 or 3 dozen instances, or more than that possibly, of aggression between these two particularly warring states. It's been happening the whole time. It's not just the latest incursion with the, the hang glider military airdropping in Israel and grabbing people up, or the resulting destruction of virtually all of the Gaza Strip. It's been happening constantly. Some people are too young to even remember like Yasser Arafat and people like that. This has been a thing since the 1960s. This is a very, very long ongoing war. And unfortunately, I don't think that it's ever going to continuously end. I don't think you're going to get your Gaza Riviera, for example. Be a good idea, compete with the Suez Canal, give a bunch of money to the Palestinian people, hyper-develop it, it becomes wealthy, Israel benefits as well, everyone's happy, and peace reigns. That would be wonderful. It would be wonderful if peace reigned in the region. We could stop giving development aid to both countries. But I don't think that's likely to happen. I think what's more likely is they're going to continuously kick the can down the road, continuously bombard one another with rockets and missiles and airstrikes and everything else under the sun. Israel will go into Gaza. Palestinians will hang glide into Israel, and they'll kill each other, and they'll take hostages, and they'll try to extract payment or favorable terms depending on how many hostages or prisoners they have. It depends. One man's hostage is another man's prisoner, by the way. It's a lost cause at this point. Donald Trump in his first term went to Israel and he tried to get negotiations going, and he was shuffled on his way because these people don't want to negotiate, because people like Netanyahu, people like the PLO, they thrive on this. They make money off of it. They keep power due to it. If peace breaks out, these people no longer have any legitimate purpose now, do they? When Trump realized this, he had a moment of revelation. I genuinely believe this. And he said, these people are never going to have peace. The governments are so corrupt, so warmongering and tyrannical, there is no way to actually negotiate with them. He then pivoted to goddamn North Korea in order to conduct negotiations, which were generally fruitful, by the way, and made some progress there. Did he get a ceasefire? No. Did he get various concessions on both sides and then say, hey, DPRK, ROK, it's your peninsula. The United States is an involved party, but you have to sort it out for yourselves. Removal of border posts, of landmines, repatriation of remains, the ending of the sloganeering propaganda broadcasts on both sides of the border, et cetera, et cetera. Did a good job, actually. When you can negotiate with North Korea, of all nations in the world, more favorably than you can negotiate with Israel and Palestine, I think we know where the true hotbed in the world is. We're more likely to see Korean unification than we are peace in the Levant region, especially now that Syria has been destabilized and taken over by Al-Qaeda. I'm assuming that's probably not going to bring greater stability to the region. Just saying, that might not be a good thing, but it's what happened. It's what the Biden administration wanted, and hopefully Trump can smooth things over somehow. I'm not 100% sure that he can. Even somebody with the diplomatic and businesslike personality of Donald Trump probably can't really do anything within that given region of the world. It's going to be impossible to negotiate because negotiations never happen at all. The problem is that these countries take an absolutist stance because the people that are running the countries are hardliners. Netanyahu realizes that he has to maintain absolute superiority over all of Israel. He can't blink. He can't back down. He can't give any concessions or the hardliners will come down around him and fucking destroy him. The Palestinian Authority, for example, as well, shares the same goal. The Palestinian Authority will end up getting lynched in the streets if they make any negotiative moves with the Israelis at all. Oh my God, you're making deals with the Jews now? They'll get killed. They won't just get cast out of power, their whole family will die. They're locked into this weird situation where neither side is technically capable of negotiating at all. You see this often in the Levant. The Lebanese government, they're barely clinging on by a thread at this point. The Jordanian government is the only one that achieved any form of stability, and that's because their king is also a fighter pilot. I think that that probably helps. It's pretty hardcore when he was bombing ISIS targets. Otherwise, within the Levant, you have had war there almost continuously in this region for several thousand years. Technically speaking, what's happening now is nothing more than an offshoot of a war that's been going on since antiquity. And people need to realize that. That's why Trump shouldn't even waste his time. He shouldn't even bother because there's not going to be a long-standing peace ceasefire deal. You'll get a temporary ceasefire. Somebody will violate it, and then they go back to fighting. Then you negotiate the next one. Somebody violates it. You go back to fighting. And this happens over and over and over again. I would love it if some clanker with TISM would go and look at the number of ceasefires and peace deals that have been negotiated in this particular region over the last 2,000 years, because there have been probably hundreds of them. And look at how long they last. This is the one most inflamed part of the entire world. Of all of the places in Earth, I'd rather be in North Korea than be in Palestine or Israel right now, honestly. And that's going some because they're a commie nation. Because it would be more peaceful. Yeah, well, at least at the end of the day, I got my mulch smoothie, and as long as I didn't badmouth Kim Jong-un, I didn't get shot in the head. In Israel and Palestine, it's like, hey, what's the weather today? Oh, rockets. Oh, same as yesterday and the day before that. Oh, there goes my roof. Well, that's really, really helpful. This literally happens every day in this part of the world. There has been continuous war forever. It's not the Holy Land, it's the land full of holes, craters from all the rockets and missiles and explosives and things like that. Yeah, it's the Holy Land. Yeah, it's full of holes. Plenty of those. There are more holes than there are houses, probably in some parts of Gaza at this point. It's been debilitated. It basically no longer exists. What kind of peace deal do you expect to actually achieve? It's not entirely clear sometimes. That's about all. Peace out.